Hey everyone, Brett here. It's that time again. We are going to be doing a fingerstyle tutorial by Sungha Jung. This is going to be one of his arrangements, and it's Tadhana by the group UDD. Now, some would say I was never going to do this tutorial, but then I found this YouTube channel called Sungha Jung Tabs, and it kind of looks like it's from the same guy, but it's not the same guy. And it's great. There's all these tabs that you can download in Guitar Pro format, but there's like some sketchy Korean website you have to go through. Anyway, so I downloaded those and I was like, great, I can use these for a tutorial, even though I seem to have deleted more in the actual file than I actually used. But that's how things go. Also, if you haven't already, I made this other tutorial for Sprint, and I said I was going to reveal the tabs when the video got 50 likes, and it's nowhere close. So go smash the like button on that video, and then I'll get you the tabs for that. I will reveal the tabs on this video if this video gets 5 likes. But also just go to the Sungha Jung Tabs YouTube channel and get that one there too. Check it out, it's really good. Alright, so we can get started. We are going to do Tadhana, the Sungha Jung arrangement. Okay, so the intro is going to start off with a C major 7 chord that you're going to do with your third and your second fingers. These third and second fingers are on the 5th and the 4th strings, and what they're going to do in the next chord is slide up into the 5th and the 4th strings, and then you have to reach back with your first finger into the 2nd fret. So this becomes a little bit of a stretch like this to get the next D major chord. But if you can't do the stretch, you can use your 4th, 3rd, and 1st fingers. Just be aware that it's going to change the fingering later on in the introduction. So I'm going to show you the way that I'm sure Sungha does it with the 3rd and the 2nd fingers. And again, if you want to replace the 3 and the 2 with 4 and 3, they are weaker fingers, but it does let this stretch come a little bit easier. Okay, so this is how that's how the left hand works. The right hand works like this. You have a, normally you're gonna start off with playing a couple notes on the first beat, and then it's hit, swipe or pluck, pluck, and then thumb. So that's kind of like 2, 3, and then your thumb. This is how it works with the rhythm and the right hand together. The right and left hands together for the introduction. So we start off with our C major chord on beat number 1. 1, hit on beat 2, pluck the strings. You're gonna slide up and get the pluck with the fingers, and then hit, and then you pluck the note with your thumb. And then you hit, fingers, thumb. All right, let's do that with the beats. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Great, that's our first measure. Let's move on to the second measure. So you're in this position here at 5, 4, and 2. Your first finger is not going to move. It's going to be like the anchor. Your second finger removes, and your third finger goes and takes the spot of your second finger. So this is this chord here. Now, when I said you could do this before with 4 and 3, in this case, if you're like this, you just remove the pinky finger. So you saved a little bit there, but because you're using weaker fingers here, you might have a little more difficulty getting this chord. So it's kind of a trade-off. All right, so I said we were like this. We're gonna swap them. So we're at 4 and 2. This is the 4th fret, 4th string, 2nd fret, 3rd string. Cool. So we have this chord, 1, 2, 3, 4. Followed by a hammer-on. Okay, so I'll explain that more closely in that measure. This chord I've explained, and then after that you just switch to the 2nd finger, 2nd fret, 4th string. So pretty straightforward. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the last half of beat number 4, you're going to do a hammer-on. After that, we're going to go back to our C major 7 chord that we just saw, and this measure is identical to the first measure. So we've done except you don't do the thing. So we've done a hammer on, 1, 2, slide over like this, 3, 4. Next, swap them, 1, 2. This is where this changes a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna, before we go to our arpeggiated E major 9 chord, this first finger is going to stay on the 3rd string. It's gonna slide back 1 fret. You're going to place the 2nd and the 4th fingers on the 5th and the 4th strings and swipe down with a finger here on the right hand. Okay, so the reason why I'm emphasizing keeping this anchor here is because this chord's actually a little bit tricky to get on its own, because it's quite stretched out. So when you have this, keep the anchor there. Like, really concentrate on sliding this back 1 fret, and then these fingers will be easier to place. Okay, that's our introduction, and now we're going to move on to verse number 1. Okay, verse number 1 is going to start off with your C major 9 chord, C major 7, sorry, and you add the 9 here with your pinky finger on the 2nd string 3rd fret. Okay, so 3rd and 2nd frets, and then also this one on the 3rd fret. So it's thumb, index, thumb with the right hand, hit, and immediately pluck the 2nd string with your index finger. Next, you're going to hit again, and then this is where a kind of switch happens. You're going to switch your pinky finger spot with your index finger, and then your 2nd finger, which was on the 4th string, is going to slide now into the 4th fret. Okay, so it's going to slide from 2 to 4. After your hit, you pluck the pinky finger note, and then you have to pluck the 4th and the 2nd strings at the same time. Next, after you've plucked those, you get your 5th string note with your thumb, get your 3rd string note with your index finger, and the 3rd string note is your pinky finger, which is now going to be on the 3rd string 5th fret. You get the 2nd string open, hit, and then twice this note A on the 3rd string 2nd fret. Okay, so that's explaining all of the acrobatics. Now you're going to do the rhythm. So 1 and 2, 3, 4. There you go. Next measure. It's an E minor chord. So you're going to just have your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and it's pretty straightforward. 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you have the hit, it's just a swipe after that. And the and of 4 is another hammer on the 5th string, hammer on from 0 to 2 here on the 5th string. So again, that's thumb. When you get these notes, you can use your middle finger or your index finger. It doesn't really matter. Thumb, hit. And when you hit on the 2nd beat, it's one of those hit swipe things. I've explained this before, I'm sure of it, because it happens all the time. But it's those ones where you hit and you swipe across the strings with a finger. So 1. This is the 2nd measure of verse number 1. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Super. All right. Now we go back to the C major 7 chord, which we're going to see a lot. This is identical to the first measure of the verse. 1, 2, switch them. 3, 3rd string, hit, and now we're on to the E minor chord. Okay, so measure number 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, next. This happens. So you're going to slide from the 2nd fret quickly to the 3rd fret at the same time that you hit. So this is where you have to be a little bit accurate when you're doing the hit and the swipe movement, because you have to swipe and hit the 2nd string at the same time. Okay, so you've held this over. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so beats 3 and 4, it's thumb, fingers to pluck, thumb, hit, up. If you notice, you can do the hit and then the swipe up move at the same time with the momentum. And then after that, it's again the hammer on to lead us back into the C major 7 chord. All right, so we're on to measure number 9. This is what you're going to do here. It's going to start off similar, where you have your exchange of the pinky finger that exchanges with the index finger here on the 2nd string 3rd fret. After that, you're going to have to reach back into the 2nd fret into this one here, 2nd fret 1st string. But whilst simultaneously actually no, you can let go. Yeah, you can let go of it. See, I was thinking you're gonna have to stretch from the 5th to the 2nd fret, but actually you don't have to. So it's 1, 2, swap them, 3, get this open string. Next, after that, you're going to get this note here in the 2nd fret. You can get it with the index finger, or you can get it right away with your 2nd finger. It doesn't really matter for the first 2 ones. But for the last one, it matters. You're going to have to switch it with the index finger. So your index finger goes onto the 3rd string 2nd fret, and your middle finger goes onto the 1st string 2nd fret. So I'll do it with the beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sweet. Okay. Now we're on to measure number 10. So you've gotten these notes in the 2nd fret. You're going to slide over, get your 3rd finger into the 3rd string 4th fret, and your 2nd finger slides over 1 fret. Pluck those 2 strings, hit, and when you pluck them, you're going to do a pull off here. Hit, hammer from 0 to 3, get the 1st string open, thumb, index. When you do this hit and swipe, your 2nd finger is now on the 4th string 2nd fret. And this leads us into the A minor 7 chord, in this measure. With the hammer on here. Okay, so briefly, let's go back to measure number 10 and look at the rhythm. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1. Okay, so measure number 11. Now we have going to get this A minor 7 chord. You're going to hammer on with your 1st finger into the 1st fret on the 2nd string. Open, hit, and this, when you hit, there's a hammer on here that you need to do with your... Okay, I do it with my index finger because we're heading on to this later, and I find it a little bit difficult, so I hammer on underneath. But you can hammer on with your 3rd finger, which will be a cleaner hammer on, but then that means your 3rd finger has to swap and go over onto the 5th string, and it has to get out of the way. So it's kind of, again, one of those trade-off things that you're going to have to decide what you want to do. Okay, so this is on the measure number 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then over here. So this over here is the 5th fret and the 4th fret. On 4th fret's the 4th string and the 2nd finger, and then the 5th fret is your pinky finger onto the 3rd string. Okay, so we've gotten to this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and release. So this chord here is this D major chord that we saw up at the beginning that has that stretch here from 3, 2, and 1. So at the 5th, 4th, and the 2nd frets. All right, let's look at those 2 last measures of verse number 1, all at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Cool. All right, the hammer on means that we're going to do verse number 2, which is identical to verse number 3. Now, verse number 2 is identical to verse number 3, and there's some little variations, but Also, the ending of verse number 2 and 3 leads into the chorus. So we're going to start off as we've started off the other verse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. This is where the variation happens. So you've had this E minor chord. 1, 2, hit and swipe. Get this note on the 3rd fret, 2nd string, and reach over to get the low G with your 3rd finger onto the 6th string. Get the note C, 2nd string, 1st fret. Hit, no, you're not gonna hit. Okay, this F sharp, I get it with my 2nd finger, and then I slide back with 3 to 2 with my pinky finger, because it has to sound like this. But Sungha does it with his thumb, and you can also do it with your thumb if you're used to using your thumb. So you do it like this if you're doing your thumb. There you go. All right, so this is how the slide is a quick slide from the 3rd to the 2nd fret onto the 3rd string. And again, use one of your fingers if you like, if you've got your thumb catching this note on the 6th string, or if you don't use your thumb, like I don't really use it, get another finger to do it. Your pinky finger is adequate. Okay, so I'll do that whole measure. 1. I'll try to do it with the thumb actually. So 1 and 2, 3, 4. Sweet. All right, next measure. This is totally different. Okay, so you have to do the hammer on the 4th string, and then you're gonna slide up to this D7 chord at the 5th fret. So with your 5th fret is your 3rd finger, and 5th fret with your 4th finger. Okay, so hammer on. Get the note A on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. So 1 and 2. Go up to this note. 3rd string. 2nd string open. 3rd string open. Hit. 3rd string, 2nd fret, and then hit again, 3rd string, 5th fret. And then we're on to E minor, which is really straightforward. All right, so let's do that measure again before we go on to measure number 16. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Super. You can also leave this 3rd finger there on the 5th string, 5th fret if you like. All right, so now we're on to measure number 16. So we have 1, 2, hit, hammer onto the 3rd string, 2nd fret. Get the 6th string open, release the 3rd finger, get the 4th and 3rd strings, 6th string, and then it's hit. You're gonna have that with the 2nd finger. Hit and swipe. So it's 1, 2, hammer on, 3, and 4. Finish with the hammer on. Cool. All right, next. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've seen this before. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, A minor 7 chord. This is the 2 measures that lead over to the chorus. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, swipe, swipe, and thumb. Alright, that was with the rhythm first. It's lots of plucking done with your index, middle, and ring fingers on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. So thumb, pluck, hammer on. Here you saw the hammer on here from 0 to 1. 1, 2, open, get that note again. The C, so 0 and then add. Thumb, swipe, or pluck. So thumb, fingers, and then definitely swipe here. That's on beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and okay. Now, leading up into the chorus, you start with a rasguiato. Stay in A minor 9, don't go to A minor. This is 2, 1, and 4. Second, first, and fourth string. Rasgueiro. And swipe. So 1 and 2 and then we go on to the chorus. The chorus is going to start off once you finish doing your rasgueiro on your A minor 7 chord. Alright, so first thing you do is you do this note on the 7th fret on the 3rd string. And then you have to pluck the open 1st string, and then immediately after that pluck the 3rd string. So it's 3, and then it's 8, 10 on the 2nd string. 3, 4. Okay, the first chord in the chorus is C major 7, and you can do it 2 ways. Either with your thumb here on the 6th string, 8th fret, and this is 9, 8, 7. Or you can use your second finger, which is my preference again, on the 6th string, and then 4, 3, and 1 at 9, 8, 7. So you have 3, 4, 1, 2, and then the last swipes are swipes on the open strings. So like you saw, when I do the first chord, the whole pattern is thumb, up, down, up, hit, up, and then 2 empty swipes. 1, 2, and you can do, yeah, that's right. You can swipe across the top strings. Don't swipe across all of the strings. The only time you're going to swipe across all of the strings is when you're doing the hit and the swipe there. So we've done the C major 7 chord. We're going to move on to the next chord, the E minor 7 chord, which is going to be 9, 7, 8, and 7. And you're going to use a small bar for that. Okay, so again, we do the lick here that starts off the chords. So it's 1, 3, 4, and then your chord. So this is 1 up, bass note, and then swipe across. 1, 2. Next, 7, 0, 8, 10. We're going to go to A minor. I guess this is A minor 9. So this is 3rd finger, 7th fret. Do a small bar here in the 5th fret, and your pinky finger goes onto the 7th fret on the 1st string. Okay, so 1, 2. You can use your thumb actually over there. 1, 2. Cool. And then we get to our last, our 4th chord, back to the E minor. The E minor, what is this? E minor 7 chord. So it's 9, small bar here on the 7th fret, and then this note you're going to get the 8th fret, 2nd string. 1, 2. Sweet. Okay, next you have to have a little variation in the melody. So it's 10, 8, 7, and then 10. The first time around, okay? So 10 on the 1st string, 8, 7, and then 10 on the 2nd string, 10th fret. The second time that you do the chorus, I put these notes in brackets. You have to do thirds. So you do 12 and 10, 10 and 8, 7 and 8, or 8 and 7, and then you get your note at the 10th fret, 2nd string. Okay, so there's 2 different ways of doing that. That's the second time, and the first time is just single notes. Alright, let's do that whole line again. So we have, yeah. So we have the admission number 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, A minor 7, 2, 3, 4, E minor 7, and then 3, 4. Cool. Next we go to C major. This you're gonna have to use your thumb for this one. So 8th fret, and then this is 10, 9, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Next, we go back to the this E minor 7 chord. So this is 9 on the 4th string, small bar on the 7th fret, and then this note's on the 8th fret on the second string. So you have 1, swipe up, and then you have to hit on the second beat, pull off the second finger, and then you're going to swipe across, and see how your third finger here is still on the fourth string. Add your pinky finger onto the third string and get this note E. So you end up having a unison. You have E, a double note. You have doubling here. You have B and E and then B and E, which are identical to your open strings. Okay, so that's again with this chord, this E minor 7 chord. 1, 2, pull off, and then it's swipe down, and then twice the low E string. Okay. All right. Next after that, you can swipe up, and then when you hit down, this permits you to get down to this A minor 7 chord. And we're going to do this sort of thing. When you get down to this A minor 7 chord, you can get the second finger on the fourth string right away, but you don't need to use it. Okay, so we've moved down, did our swiping. It's written to coda. That's for the second time when you come around and do it, so I'll explain it a little bit later. But we're going down to do this note, this A minor 7 chord. So you have G, C, and G, 0, 1, and 3. And you're going to do a series of hammer-ons. I've just removed my second finger just to show you, but again, if you want to keep your second finger here when you're doing the swipe, it's actually probably a good idea. It increases the stability of your chord, and it also is part of the chord instead of this open string. Okay, so 1, hammer on, release. I'm plucking the first and the second strings here. Through, this is, so 1, 2, 3, hit, and then index, thumb, and then you're going to get your fourth finger, which is going to hop over onto the second string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what I did there in this measure, just before the interlude, is a lot of strumming and a lot of hits. The hits again happen on beats 2 and beats 4, and the rest of the time you just have to follow the arrows for the strumming. When you have this pinky finger here, it's on the 3rd fret into the 2nd string, and you can take it off when you're doing some of the strumming. So you've tied over 1 and 2, 3, and 4, and that's it. Okay, so the interlude is going to start off with your 3rd finger, and it's going to be this C major 7 chord. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Next we have a signature Sungha Jung lick. So pluck the first string open, slide from 3 to 2, pull off, do 2, 3, 2, pull off, and then you can hammer or pluck the note that's on the 4th string, 2nd fret. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Alright, next we move on, and the last 2 measures of the interlude are exactly the same as the last 2 measures of the introduction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then your E major 9 chord. Okay, so this means that you're going to do verse number 3 again. You're going to do the chorus, and when it says to coda, you are going to go to the coda sign, and then the outro. So let's look at that. Okay, so the outro is going to be, it starts 2 measures after you have the coda sign, and the first measure of the coda, measure 33, is very, very similar to the measure that you're going to find in the chorus, except you don't move to this chord later, this chord with the D, the added D, the 3rd string, 2nd fret, 2nd string, 3rd fret, you don't move to that one. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then instead of that, you just get an open A minor 7 chord with all of the open strings. So swipe that over, 1, 2, that's just a whole lot of swiping, and just follow the arrows. So, and then after that we get to start and jump right into the outro. Let me do those 2 measures of the coda again once more, just to be really sure about where the beats fall, and then we'll go look at the outro. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. I hope that was clear. All right, next after that, let's do the outro. The outro has a lot, again, of these signature Sungha Jung licks, and if you want to check out more of those, look at my video about Sungha's tasty licks. So the outro, C major 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. We saw this lick that was in the interlude, so I won't explain it again. Let's move on to the next signature lick. C major 7, 1, 2, move over to D, E. Okay, this signature lick goes up into the 9th fret. So you have 9, 8, 10. Do the 9th fret note with your 2nd finger, the 8th fret note with your 1st finger. 9, 8, 10. Like this. So slide 10, 11, 10, pull off, and then the last, it's identical to this note, but you'll notice that he gets the open string. This open string lets you get back to the, it's a clever way of letting you get back to 1st position. Okay? Like that. If you were to do it, you wouldn't have enough time if you were to do this note as you had just fingered it before. So it's the fun thing about guitar, you have different kind of Okay, we get to do the last signature lick. So we start off with the C major 7 chord again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Alright, this signature lick, you're going to first hammer on from 0 to 3 on the 6th string. Get the 5th string open, 2nd fret on the 5th string. Slide from 2, 3 to 2, pull off. And then get this note on the slow beat on the 5th string, 2nd fret. So it's, so do you quickly first, 0, 3, 0, 2, and then either pluck or hammer on the note. It doesn't really matter for those bass strings. Let's do that again from 39. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. And then the last little bit is exactly how you finish the whole song. 1, 2, 3, and then 1. You can slow down here, and then your 3rd finger slides back, and you do this E major 9 chord. And there you go. You have learned Tadhana. Thank you everyone for watching today's tutorial on how to play this cool fingerstyle cover. I didn't know the song before, so it was interesting for me to learn it. And I hope it was interesting for you as well. So be sure to subscribe to the channel for more original music, fingerstyle covers, and more tutorials. They will be on the way. Go check out that Sungha Jung tabs channel. It's pretty cool. There's pretty accurate tabs that are there. And it helped a lot for this tutorial as well. And thanks for watching. Subscribe again. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Follow me on Facebook and go check out my website where I have a mailing list that you can sign up to, and I send out the PDF tabs to people who are already signed up on the mailing list. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day and see you in the next video.